Let's talk about the Islanders' OT win and Patrick Waugh's first game on the bench as the Owls head coach with Stefen Rosner, beat reporter for NHL.com. Stefen, thank you for jumping on with this, man. This team spikes my blood pressure watching them, and I know you got to get some gray hairs in your hair too covering this team, but they couldn't have picked the better time or a better team to snap a 5-game losing streak against. So what was your initial thoughts on the OT win and Patty Waugh's first game and first win as a head coach for this team?
Yeah, you look at just from morning skate on out, the energy, the passionate guy that Waugh is when he was a player, when he was coaching with the Avalanche, when he was coaching in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. I mean, he is fire. And I said it yesterday, but Lou Lamoriello wanted fire, and he bought a flamethrower. I mean, this guy was screaming at the players during morning skate, during basic drills, stopping the drills, pointing out every little thing he wants to fix. And then you come to the game where the game wasn't perfect, nor should they have expected that the Islanders' system and their flaws are just going to evaporate with Waugh being here. But the biggest thing was effort. And throughout the 60-plus minutes of action, effort was never an issue. And they come from behind to get a win, get Waugh's first win behind the Islanders' bench. Just an overall amazing night for the team because, again, it wasn't perfect, but they found a way to rally with their new coach and to get a huge win to snap their 4-game slide.
So you're loving the energy, and that energy looks that it's breeding effort from these players. So what are some of the things in terms of coaching style and the X's and O's that he brings to this team? And what are the players saying about him?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is accountability. He walked into his first in-person press conference and pretty much listed everything the Islanders were bad at. And again, if you look back with the hiring of Barry Trotz and Lane Lambert, this is the Islanders' the players' first new voice since 2018. And, it's sometimes you have to look in the mirror, and also the truth hurts. And bringing in an outside voice like Waugh that comes in and immediately says, hey, these are 5 things that we do really bad, that we're bad at. We're going to fix these things. I think it puts the accountability on the players, him now, because he has to fix them, and the organization that, hey, the way things have been going on without me here, we got to fix these things. And the players, a lot of them said, we love it. Again, it's intense. It's different. It's much more vocal and loud than they had under Lane. But a lot of the guys said, we love this. We love the way he's coaching. He's like he's playing the game with us. You saw him last night walking up and down the bench, screaming. He was following the play up the ice, following the players back. And he chose the right times to cool off a little bit, let the players play. And I think they really respected how much he just wanted to win. And that fueled them, and they got the win for themselves for sure. But they wanted to win for him because they know how much he cared. And not that he cared more than them, but again, you're coming after a terrible road trip where a coach gets fired, need a response, and Waugh got the response out of his players last night.
Yeah, it's one thing to be a coach and you're just known for the rah-rah or the wah-wah, no pun intended. But, players, we love the motivation, we love the energy, but at the same time, we love the X's and O's. And he was talking about how he's going to use advanced stats and analytics when it comes to the X's and O's and getting his team in the right position to capture some W's. That was their 3rd win in 11 games. Let's look ahead now because you got the Golden Knights coming to town on Tuesday night. The Canadiens, they play up in Montreal. Then you got the Panthers to close out the week. How big of a week is it for this team to make up some ground in terms of points in the Metro Division?
Oh, yeah, it's incredibly huge. Again, this might be the perfect time for this hiring because it's the last week before the All-Star break, and you're playing teams that, again, it's the NHL. Any team could beat any team, but if the Islanders play the way that Waugh wants them to play, they will make it difficult on any team they play. Again, offensively, the Islanders have kept up with every team. The problem was their defensive issues. They can clean that up. This is going to be a tough team to play. You look at Vegas, they're going to be on the second of a back-to-back. Aiden Hill's projected to start against the Islanders. He hasn't played since December 17th. So a tired team with a goalie who's rusty. The Islanders have to do what they have to do. They have to generate chances like they did last night and get pucks on goal, and they should have no issues. They played Vegas about a couple of weeks ago. They lost that game over a couple of turnovers, a bad second period, but they were right there and really should have won that game. You look against Montreal, where Patrick Waugh won 2 Stanley Cups over his NHL career there. And this is a Montreal Canadiens team that's been terrible this year. That's a game that you can't lose. You look at the game that got Lane Lambert fired, or the final dagger, that 3-2 overtime loss to the Chicago Blackhawks. That was a game the Islanders could not lose. And now, again, effort-wise will never be an excuse, I don't think, for this team again. And you got into Montreal, a hard place to play, but you play your A game, you're coming away with 2 points. And then Florida. It's a team that the Islanders already beat December 2nd, 4-3 win without Matthew Barzal in their lineup. Their best player was out. They held a lead, which had been a major issue. So they already know that they could beat Florida this year. And again, depending on what happens earlier in this week, the final game before a break, the last thing they want to do is have to think about a loss while they're waiting and stuff. So I think for sure it's an incredibly big week again to right some wrongs from the last road trip and make up points. And again, this division where You could finish last in the division or you could finish first. It's that close.
Yeah, it's pretty crowded in the Eastern Conference playoff race. 10 seconds. I know it's just a one-game sample size, but will this team make the playoffs with Patrick Waugh as their head coach this year? 10 seconds, go.
Yeah, I think they will. I think that they have the ability. Again, they have the talent. It's about getting the most out of that, and I think Waugh is the guy to do it.
All right, tell the people they can find you, my man.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Stefen_Rosner, Stefen_Rosner, over at the Hockey News and NHL.com.
All right, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, man.